Hello, and thanks for stopping by. This is the A500 mini console, or maybe it's better known as the Amiga Mini, just released in April 2022 by RetroGames.biz. This is the same company that brought us the C64 Mini and full-size machines, and there was also a VIC-20 offshoot. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of these products. I have multiple 64 Minis and a full-size one as well. I don't have the VIC-20 yet, but I might still get one. This one I was really excited to get my hands on, because it isn't released in the US yet. It's only available overseas. Amazon UK was willing to sell it to me and send it my way. I just had to pay some extra shipping costs. So to get this a month or so ahead, it was worth it for me. I really wanted this one. It costs about $140, and I guess that brings into the question of value. Do I think it's a good value? And personally, I do. I know there are only 25 games on here, but coming out of the gates, you can load more. I think if you're a fan of this system, it's probably worth it. It certainly is for me, honestly. I still have my pre-order in for the US release, and I'm going to be glad to get it. It's a nicely printed box, and it's actually a little heavier than I expected. I know this is a mini console, but it's not featherlight, and that works for me. Gives it a little bit of substance. I never had this Amiga console, the full-size one, when I was younger. We had a Commodore 64, but I couldn't afford the buy-in price of this one. I was a kid. I didn't have thousands of dollars kicking around. I always wanted one, though. So to finally get this console with some games loaded, it's kind of a dream come true. The box itself comes with a few different things. Obviously, it comes with the console itself. It also comes with a mouse. It comes with a gamepad, an HDMI cable, and a USB-C cable for power, but there's no USB plug with it. I guess it's a bummer, but overall, if there was one thing to not include in this package, that would probably be it. The Amiga 500 was a home PC that was actually really powerful for its time. I remember hearing that it could do video editing back in the 80s, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. The original system had a 3¼ inch floppy drive built in, which was nice, but here, it's just something molded onto the casing to look like the original machine. It's definitely not functional. The keyboard isn't functional either, and that seems obvious to me because this is a mini console, but I guess it's important to know if you've not seen this before. The system comes with a total of 25 games loaded, and it also gives you the option to load games with a USB stick. This kind of adjusts the available games from the Core 25 to the entire library of the Amiga, if you think about it. I did a search online, and the online gurus say this system had more than 2,100 games available for it. I'm sure all the games aren't winners, but out of that volume of games, I'm sure everybody could find a list of favorites. Being a 30-plus-year-old system, there are plenty of abandoned games available out there. You just have to go to those abandoned websites and take a look at what's out there. Companies close, they just go out of business, games fall by the wayside. Things you can't buy anymore. There's plenty out there, it's worth looking. The system has ports on the back. We get 3 USB ports, we get 1 USB-C port, we get an HDMI output, and then we get a power button that turns the whole thing on. I think my one disappointment here for this system is that there are only 3 USBs, and there really should be 1 more. You need 1 port for the mouse, you need 1 for the gamepad, 1 for the USB stick with your extra games, and you need 1 more, so you can plug in a keyboard. I know there are plenty of games out there that are just going to need a keyboard to play. Now we have to unplug the gamepad or the mouse, I imagine. If we look at the mouse, I think the mouse is actually kind of interesting. It's an optical mouse, and I'm pretty sure these didn't exist back in the day. The standard mice back then had trackballs in them. They rolled around. I remember having to open up multiple mice just to clean out the inner tracks because of all the dirt they collected from rolling around. I imagine switching to an optical mouse is probably a lot cheaper and probably more accurate. Reasonable upgrade to have, I think. The gamepad feels solid, but honestly, it doesn't feel amazing. It is certainly sufficient, and it doesn't feel like it's cheap junk, but I've definitely held better controllers. We get 2 shoulder buttons, we get 4 face buttons, and we get a directional pad. There's also a menu and a home button. If you're in a game, and you press the menu button, it opens a virtual keyboard on the side of the screen, which will be helpful if you don't have a keyboard plugged in and you suddenly find yourself needing one. The system also looks great, for sure, and it also works, which is a big thing. There are 25 games loaded on this little thing, and I only recognize a few of them. Battle Chess was popular on a bunch of different systems. I certainly remember California Games, and the one game that sold this system for me, that I'm absolutely in love with, is Another World. I reviewed this game on another system because I'm a huge fan of this game. The Amiga, I believe, was the very first place that this game was released. This is a go-to game for me. This is a system seller. It's just an awesome game, and I'll link to my review in the comments. It was the one game that made me really want this system as a kid. It made me really want it now. It's just fantastic. And this was the original design and release graphics of the game. And although the other versions have been upscaled and ported to different systems, it's just as good here. It's awesome to have this in the collection. Now, as for the other games, I'm happy to see there's a pinball game on this one. I only bounced the pinball around a little bit, but it's pretty good. I mean, the music is also really awesome on this table, so that's great. There are multiple tables for this particular game, but there are actually other pinball games released out there for this system. Apparently there's 5 or 6 of them, it looks like. I'm going to have to try them all out. Then I was just randomly looking at other games. I popped open a game called Alien Breed. I had no idea what this game was walking into it. I have no clue what it's about. But after running around for a few seconds, I think I'm understanding what we have here. They basically crossed Gauntlet with the Alien franchise. I was not expecting that. I ran around this base for a while and then these aliens showed up. Cool. Fantastic. I'm going to have to give this one a deeper look. This is my type of thing. Now, I'm not going to go into reviewing a bunch of these games on this particular video. I'm going to leave those for other ones. But so far, this system is looking pretty awesome and it's got a great selection of games. I'm certainly glad that I imported this. Well, that's all I have today for the A500 Mini. Thank you for stopping by to take a look, and if this video is your type of thing, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff, and I hope to catch you on another video.